I think like design is as much of the people who will live in there. And like biggest challenge is like incorporating creativity with budget because those are always the two things. Like you have a lot of creativity in your mind, but if the budget don't meet it, then it's kind of harder. But I think you can get out of it by doing a lot of like resourcing. You put more time on resourcing, and then you can actually like see the creativity in every piece that you will put in someone's home.
One is billable hours, because when I'm a student doing a project, I can spend as much time as I want until the thing is due. But when I'm, working in real life, I have to think about, is the client really going to want to pay for me to look for like an hour's more worth of light fixtures to find the perfect one? Or at this phase in the project, are we okay to just spend a limited amount of time? Availability is definitely an issue because our clients work full-time jobs, they have families, they have things going on. They may not be as available to go to a showroom in the middle of the week when the showrooms are open as we are. So working around their schedules and their availability to answer questions and make decisions. And then I would say the internet. We all use the internet to look for things, but when a client finds something on the internet that doesn't really exist, or maybe they find, for example, a $50 faucet, and I'm not confident in the quality of that faucet, I'm having to do a lot of education and a lot of redirecting folks to things that I know that I can stand behind.
It's like like how could I, what could I help to change these people, like the way they live, because it's like sometimes it's just like a belonging, a sense of belonging, but it's not just that. Like there's so many things that can happen when you live into a nice, organized place. It doesn't have to be luxurious, but it helps in many ways. Every time I finish a project, I can see how really it changes to the people who lives in there, like their life, even their lifestyle changes. Like one of my clients, like he just used to wear jeans every time, and then the next morning he was like wearing slacks. So I mean,
Every time I go for a walk, go shopping, go to my kids' sporting events, get stuck in traffic, like everything is has a new design opportunity for me. I'm looking at how colors go together. What shapes am I responding to? What are people wearing? I feel like I'm looking at things in a whole new way and always thinking about how can I incorporate that into a design. What does it mean to that person? What does it mean in this environment? Why was this selected? And I bringing that in and thinking about the context of design.
I mean, I do follow a lot of renowned interior designers on social media, but actually, what really do inspire me is the client. Because I focus on what their needs, what they want, because they are the one who's gonna live in there, and then based on what I've seen online, then I apply it and connect it to their vision because I cannot just create a design that it won't feel perfect for them. I cannot just say that, hey, this is a color wrestler design, so I'm putting it home, but it's like it's not them. So I think what's inspired me is like, after getting to know your client, building their profiling, and then that's what's inspired me.
But we were talking earlier about the field trips. Take advantage of those, ask lots of questions, go back to those showrooms and ask follow-up questions, and think about there are so many different things that you can do in design, right? You can be an independent designer, you can work in a showroom, you can get into furniture design. There's so many different things to do. Be open to all of those, explore as many of those, and when an opportunity presents itself, give it a shot.
Yeah, my advice is like stay curious, and embrace the process, and it's gonna be worth it. And if you want to do it now, because it will. You'll see how it will benefit you because it's not just by helping clients, it also helps you because you're not just an interior designer. It's also, who you are, and that is your dream to stay with your network because it will help you a lot when you're like ready to be there. They give us the network right there.
Probably the biggest thing is going to be AI. Everybody's talking about AI, and it's been advancing so quickly already. I think there are going to be a lot more folks who think that they can do interior design on their own because they can tell ChatGPT they want a pretty room to make sure that the public understands and our clients understand what's really realistic.
You can still see when a real human designing your space, because an AI can do so much and a person can make it more personalized.
Be prepared to be realistic about what your skill set is, and if there's something that you hate doing, it's okay to delegate that. If you hate bookkeeping, it's okay to hire a bookkeeper and focus on the pretty parts if you're able to do that.
Be transparent with your client, especially with the budget, because like if your client is expecting this design and their budget is clear, you have to be transparent with them that, oh, I don't think it's achievable with the budget that you mentioned, which is sometimes it's hard for a designer to say because they need a project. But sometimes if you just think about because you need a project, you're gonna fail at the end because you give them a very high expectation because you needed a project. I think what you should prioritize is you need to help them, not you need the job.
Yeah, because in the end, you have to feel good about what you delivered.
Yeah.
And they need to be happy with what you
And
delivered.
it's like, is it worth it?
Yeah. I'm really proud of myself for changing gears, really. I worked in IT for a really long time. I worked for other people. I had never started my own business, and just realizing that I'm capable of doing those things. I can start my own business. I can figure out my own bookkeeping. I can do my own marketing so far. All those sorts of things. I can start doing my own social media. I've grown so much.
Inspired me the most is because let me give a little bit of background. Like I'm very passionate with design. I started with my young age, and I always like to make things pretty. And I do have like a 10 years of working experience in corporate roles. I decided to pursue it because I think design is my true calling.
Sure. I would say most directly would be a big remodel that we did on our house. We did an exterior remodel and an interior remodel. We worked with an architect, an interior designer, and a general contractor. I worked really closely with them, and like really started to fall in love with that. And I had been looking for something else to do. Now that I'm here, I look back and I think it was always kind of there.
I think it does helps a lot, like because it's build connection and network, and like as soon as I graduated and launched my own business, I don't feel like where am I going the Thursday visit really helps a lot.
I agree. They were fantastic. I'm a pretty shy person, and having the field trips take us into those showrooms where I might have felt intimidated to go was super helpful. Just getting to know the staff, getting to feel more comfortable asking questions, asking for advice, knowing those are resources that you can lean on when you have a real life project was really, really, really helpful. And the variety of the field trips was great too, not just within the design center, but around the city. It was so helpful.
And it's fun.
Yes, that's right.